Weaponized water. How access to water sources is shaping geopolitical conflict and cooperation. Hi, everyone. I'm Henry Wetmiller, a finance major from Selinsgrove, PA. I chose this topic because water, like oil or rare minerals, is becoming a critical geopolitical resource. As a finance student, I am also particularly interested in how natural resource scarcity affects global stability and economies. Why water matters in international relations. First of all, it is an essential resource. It is critical for agriculture, drinking, sanitations, and energy. Geographical imbalances also uh, play a key role in international relations because some countries control key rivers and watersheds. Climate change impacts, droughts, and changing rainfall patterns worsen scarcity of water, and transboundary rivers. There are 286 rivers that cross country borders. These cause tension and cooperation. Why now? 70% of Earth is water, but only 0.5% of that is accessible freshwater. Climate change and population growth have attributed to a rising demand for water. Water, as I said, is essential for agriculture, energy, and basic human survival. Uh, Access to clean water is becoming a 21st century power play. Countries with control over water sources can wield significant influence on other countries. So, what is weaponized water? Weaponized water isn't about missiles. It's about cutting off rivers or building dams in strategic ways that affect other countries. This can be shown as using water as leverage in political negotiations, controlling upstream flow to influence downstream neighbors, and withholding water during conflict or tension. On the right is a dam on the upper Mekong River, which has particularly led to concerns of withholding water to downstream countries. For my first case study or example, I chose the Nile River dispute. It is largely focused around the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam located in Ethiopia. Egypt and Sudan fears that this dam reduces water flow to their countries, although Ethiopia sees it as national pride and power generation. The African Union's involvement is primarily focused on the mediation of the dispute, which involves Ethiopia, Egypt, and Sudan. The AU's role is to de escalate and encourage a peaceful settlement of the dispute. For my second case study, I chose India and Pakistan and an example of a water treaty. The Indus Water Treaty was signed in 1960. It is still largely held even during conflict between Pakistan and India. India has considered using water as a pressure tool in regards to Pakistan. Uh, this shows both the fragility and the strength of water agreements. On the right, you'll see a small map showing the rivers within Pakistan and India. India has full use of all water from the three eastern rivers, but must allow unrestricted flow of waters from western rivers to Pakistan. India amounts for 20% of water, and Pakistan 80% in terms of MAF or million acre feet. The treaty shows, even with nuclear tensions, water treaties are sometimes the last thread holding peace. For my third case study, I decided to choose Turkey and the Tigris and Euphrates rivers. Turkey controls the headwaters of these rivers, Syria and Iraq heavily rely on downstream flow from these rivers. But as you can see on the graph on the right, Turkey has installed dams and dammed up most of the upstream in copious amounts. This was a part of the Southeast Anatolia project, which is aimed at improving and promoting irrigation in Turkey. But it has been criticized for its environmental damage and when it was used as a political tool, specifically regarding the Kurds and the displacement of the Kurdish people. Although there are opportunities for cooperation, water diplomacy is emerging as a peaceful alternative to hard power. This is because shared water equals shared interest. Example, the Senegal River Basin cooperation amongst the West African states, which is largely considered to be the most even distribution of water in the world. And this can be highlighted by the roles of international bodies like the UN and the World Bank in water treaties and water settlements. From a finance side, I wanted to focus on a slide that shows the value behind water. And this is when water becomes a commodity. Recently, governments have been outsourcing water management to private companies. The major players are Nestle, Veolia, Suez, and others control access in parts of Latin America, Africa, Europe, and North America. This has led to major public backlash like protests in Bolivia and elsewhere. For equity concerns, this means higher costs, limited access for the poor, and lack of transparency. From a geopolitical angle, corporations can influence national water policy and international negotiations. Water futures. In 2020, water was traded on the futures market in California, a sign of growing scarcity. Why it matters. Water can either divide or unite nations. In a changing climate, managing water peacefully is crucial. And from a financial angle, economic disruption from water conflict is rising by the minute.